row, please. We have two questions.
Hi, Katie. How's it going?
Yeah, how's it going? How are you?
Good, good. Thank you. Listen, Jennifer Han has described this as the most important fight of her life. What are you expecting her to bring on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think for all of my fights, I obviously expect the opponents to bring their very, very best, better than they've ever performed before. So I'm always expecting the toughest fight every time I come up against these challengers. I think she's a very, very good fighter, very technical fighter. She had a good amateur career as well. So I am expecting a very, very tough and good fight. I'm prepared for that on Saturday night.
And just looking, I know you've spoken about saying something like Leeds is something like a second home to you. Going into Saturday, it's been a while since you've got a crowd this big for a fight. And how excited are you for the whole experience that comes with a big fight night?
Yeah, I'm really excited. This has been a long time coming. I feel like I haven't fought in front of a crowd in a long time. So to have a chance to obviously fight in front of hopefully 20,000 people. The atmosphere is going to be electric, and obviously I have a soft heart towards Leeds as well, so it is going to be really amazing to actually fight here. I have great memories growing up of coming here as a kid, visiting the city and going to Ellen Road and looking at seeing a few of the Leeds United games. So there are some of my best memories as a kid. So to have the chance to actually fight here is really special.
Good luck, Katie. Cheers.
Thanks for that, Michael.
Okay, we go to Tom Gray from the Ring magazine for his two questions, please.
Sorry, mute flaw there. Katie, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, Tom?
Not bad. Katie, this is obviously an IBF mandatory that you're going into, but you hold 4 governing body titles. Can you give us an idea of, all going well against Jennifer Han, the remainder of your dance card for 2021 and into 2022, because obviously there's going to be other mandatory obligations at lightweight coming up?
Yeah, I have no idea really, to be honest, who's going to be next after this fight. I'm obviously just purely focused on this fight on Saturday night. But there's obviously a lot of big names out there, the usual names, the Serranos, the McCaskills, all the big names. I'd obviously love those fights, but I just have to get over Saturday night first. My focus is completely, I have a job to do obviously on Saturday. It's not going to be an easy fight, so I have to just get over this hurdle first before even thinking about the next step.
Understood. I was just a touch late on to the call. I'm wondering if you had a look at Amanda Serrano at the weekend against Mercado, and if you saw it, what did you make of the performance, and could she be in your near future?
Yeah, I actually didn't watch the fight at all, but I heard she was obviously.
You were going to say that.
Yeah, it was obviously on all hours in the morning for us here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was obviously a very good and dominant performance from her. I think she was saying after that she wants to unify that division first. So I don't know when that fight is going to be made. This is a fight that has been talked about obviously for years. And the fight hasn't happened, not because of me. I obviously wanted to fight. I obviously want the big names and the big fights. So I guess it's the ball is on her court.
Got it. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. If we go to Ron Lewis from Boxing Scene next, please.
Sorry, one sec. Hi, Katie. What's it like? Your old Olympic title is back in Irish hands now.
Yeah.
What did that feel like watching Kelly do it, and how big a fight would it be between you and Kelly in the future if she decides to go pro?
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously the proudest person in the world watching all the Irish athletes compete and perform, and to see that victory was absolutely phenomenal. Such a great performance, and just the honor of fighting for your country in the Olympic Games. There's nothing better really, but bringing so much pride and honor to your country is something very, very special. I was glued to the whole Olympic Games throughout, and just to see her compete and perform at the highest level and just perform so well as well was absolutely incredible. Yeah, but the fight between me and her, I don't know if she decides to go pro, I guess we can talk about that. But for the time being, I have my own opponents, obviously, to focus on.
When was the last time you actually sparred? I presume you have at some point sparred with her. When was the last time?
I don't think I actually have sparred with her.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think I actually have sparred with her. Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, you know, from you to her, I mean, do you hope it sparks a real sort of a renaissance in, well, not really renaissance, a growth in Irish women's boxing?
Yeah, I think it already has really over the last few years, and Kelly's success over the last few years. I think it's been absolutely phenomenal for especially the kids in Dublin inner city. What she's actually doing for those kids, inspiring that generation, is absolutely phenomenal. It's very, very special, and just seeing the excitement of the people, even watching her, the kids, the young girls growing up, actually watching Kelly win that gold medal. You have no idea what that's actually going to do for the kids in that area. Such an amazing win, a phenomenal performance, and inspiring that generation, in especially the inner city kids in Dublin, is absolutely incredible.
Excellent. Cheers, Katie.
Yeah,
Speak to
thank
you later.
you. Cheers.
Thanks, Ron. If we go to Ben McKenna next, please, for 2 questions.
Hi, Katie. Just one from me. With the affinity and connections you have to Leeds, and where will Fighting at Headingley rank in all the places you fought during your pro career?
Yeah, I think, I mean, just the fact that I'm actually going to be fighting here in front of 20,000 people, I think this could be a phenomenal night for myself. The atmosphere alone is going to be very, very special. But yeah, I never even thought of even having a chance to fight here. So it is very, very special for me. And as I said before, I have some amazing memories growing up, just visiting this city, and going to Ellen Road, going to the football games. I have a strong connection, obviously, to the city, so it is going to be a very, very special night for me.
Thank you. Best luck.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. If we go to Sean Mcgoldrick for your 2 questions, please.
Hi, Katie. Actually, just go back to what Kelly said there about, or what you said about your sparring with Kelly. She actually remembers you sparring, so you obviously don't, do you?
Oh, right. There you go.
Years ago, she said it was.
It must have been a long time ago. Yeah.
Just to what you said there about Leeds United, do you remember a specific game that you were at that sort of sticks in the mind?
I actually don't remember who they were playing against, but I just remember, obviously, I grew up with Leeds United jerseys all the time. Just the excitement of actually going to a Leeds game, wearing the jersey, wearing the Leeds scarf, just the excitement that brought to me. And we went over to Leeds specifically for that game. So yeah, it was just a great deal of excitement in our house, actually traveling over for a Leeds United game.
No, I wasn't just yourself and your dad, or did the whole family go?
Myself, my dad, and my brother. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I just one other thing. It was reported on social media last night, going back to the Serrano fight, that the Jake Paul donated half his purse to the other fighters, including $500,000 to Serrano. I mean, do you think, whatever the truth in it is, but do you think that's a poor reflection on the kind of purses that women's fighters in generally get, that they have to be supplemented by something like that?
Yeah, well, fair play to Jake Paul if that is true, really. I kind of wish I was on his undercard now. But yeah, I mean, I think he gave a lot of his purse away to all the fighters in that card, I think, besides Fury, I believe. But yeah, I mean, that's an amazing donation from his part. And I mean, in terms of the purses, yeah, I feel like we've definitely bridged that gap greatly over the last few years. You still haven't gotten to a place where we're getting as much as the guys, but I think we have made great steps towards with that side of things. So I'm obviously very, very happy with the purses I'm getting.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Sean. If you go to Ben Davis from Mirror Fighting for your 2 next, please.
Hi, Katie. Just one from me. So you've mentioned Serrano and McCaskill. Is kind of a return to America something you could see kind of you entertaining in the future?
Yeah, I love that actually. I think the last few fights have obviously been here in the UK, which is incredible. But I would love to have a few more fights in the US as well. So I'm sure that is on the radar at some stage. And those kind of fights, I think, will be perfect for that.
Cool. Thank you. That's all from me. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. If we go to Jim Conlon next, please.
Hi, Katie. For a long time, you shared the torch in terms of female Irish boxing, in terms of our only Olympian success. Did you like that role, being the only lady carrying the torch for so long? And do you start to feel glad now that you're sharing it with Kelly?
Oh yeah, this is what it's all about. My me getting involved in the sport and competing in the Olympic Games and bringing back that gold medal was to inspire the next generation. And I feel like the girls competing, for likes of Kelly, Michaela Walsh, and Aoife O'Rourke, those girls competing is part of my legacy as well. So this is what I'm in the sport for, is to inspire those girls to actually go on and achieve more than I've ever done. And I think that is what true legacy is all about.
And I suppose, Katie, there's awful talk, I suppose, in terms of female boxers and promotions, and say people are trying to duck this and dodge this, and for some reason this didn't happen or this didn't happen. Do you start to take any notice to it? Do you start to alienate yourself from it? And do you feel it's more of a distraction if you were to think about it and get it on your conscience? Are you the type of fighter saying what will be in terms of fights, and whatever people are saying, I'll take no notice to it until I see them in front of me in the ring?
Yeah, I think that's the mindset you have to have in this game. You really don't know. I obviously want the big fights, but the two teams obviously have to come together and negotiate and make the fight happen. And I obviously have a great team of people around me, and I keep that's I guess their responsibility. Their part is actually make those fights happen. I'm just here to focus on my fights, on my training, and thankfully I have been involved in some of the biggest fights in women's boxing, and I don't think we've ever ducked any opponents, and I think my caliber of opponents have you have all seen, I guess, who have actually fought in the past, and we want the big fights. We want to be involved in history-making fights, and I think me and my team have done a great job with that.
Cheers, Katie.
Cheers, thank you.
Okay, if you go to Steve Bilton next, please, for a question.
Hi, Katie. It's Steve from Boxing UK.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Katie. It's nearly 5 years since you turned pro, Katie. Are you happy with the progress that women's boxing's made in that time? And are you aware of just what legacy you've left over that time?
Yeah, I think the last few years have been obviously the most exciting of my whole career, really, both amateur and professional. I am very happy that we've bridged so many gaps. I think when I first turned pro 5 years ago, we didn't really know how this journey was going to go. Women's professional boxing was kind of unknown. So to see where it is right now is absolutely phenomenal. I think there's so many female boxers right now, especially in the UK, that are actually household names, which is incredible. The likes of Savannah Marshall, Terry Harper, these kind of girls that have made big waves in the sport as well. So I'm very happy, obviously, with where it has come along in the last 5 years, and the best is yet to come as well.
Thanks, Katie. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers.
Steve, if we go to Danny Flexen from Seconds Out for his question, please.
Hey, Katie, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. You mentioned Serrano and McCaskill as future targets. What about back here in the UK? So the likes of Chantel Cameron or Natasha Jonas rematch, maybe even Terry Harper. Do any of those interest you?
Yeah, of course. I think all of those would interest me, really. As I said, I'm very happy to step into the ring with anyone. I'm very open to any big name out there, and those names are obviously huge names as well. And I'm honestly genuinely just willing to fight anyone and step in the ring with anyone. And those names do excite me as well.
Thanks, Katie.
Cheers.
Thanks, Danny. If we go to Ryan Elliott from Boxing Social for his question, please.
Hi, Katie. Thanks for joining us. Just a one question from me. I just want to touch on your opponent, Jennifer Han. I was just wondering how much of her you've actually watched and what you think she does well as well.
Yeah, I don't tend to watch a lot of my opponents, to be quite honest, but but I leave that stuff up to my coach. I watch a few clips every now and then. But yeah, I've seen a few clips of her. I know that she's technically very good. As I said, she has got a nice solid amateur background as well. So yeah, she's quite technical. I think she's going to bring her best game on Saturday night. That's usually the case when stepping into the ring against myself. So I'm expecting obviously a very, very tough fight. She has a great record as well, obviously. She has earned her place as the #1 challenger for the IBF. So she's here to take all my belts, but I'm obviously here to take all my belts home with me as well. So I'm looking forward to a great night on Saturday, a great performance for myself, and I know that she's going to bring her absolute best game.
All right, thank you, Katie. Best of luck.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. If we go to Sasha Jones from Women's Fight News, please.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, thank you. You said against Tasha Jonas that you felt like you made a lot of mistakes. Is there anything in particular that you've worked on, for this camp coming into this fight?
Did I say that?
I promise you did, yeah. I don't think you did, but I do promise.
Yeah, I mean, I very rarely come out of the ring thinking there's no such thing as a perfect performance. I don't think. There's always things to work on, which is a great thing about boxing. Really, I always want to improve. I always want to be better than my last fight, and I've definitely worked on a lot of things over the last few months. I do feel like I'm a better boxer today than I was in the last fight. And I hopefully that will show on Saturday night. But yeah, that's as I said, that is the great thing about boxing. You're always constantly working on things. You can constantly get better, and that's why it's very, very hard to get bored. It's impossible to get bored in this sport because of that. I still have the passion for this sport. I still want to get up every single day and improve and get better. And yeah, and thankfully I'm working with one of the best coaches in the world as well, in Rossina Might. So I feel like I'm improving all the time.
Yeah, perfect. Well, good luck at the weekend.
Thanks a lot. Yes.
Thanks, Sasha. If you go to Chris Ridgway for his question, please.
Hi, Katie. Okay.
Yeah, not too bad, Chris.
Just a quick one for me. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about looking back, since your time in the Olympics and turning pro and everything else. Just how have you evolved and progressed as a fighter and as a person since turning pro and before, I guess, until present day and where we are now?
Yeah, I think I've evolved greatly in both, actually. As a person, I feel like I've grown so much, and as a boxer as well. I didn't actually realize. I just thought boxing was boxing all the time. I didn't realize how different the two sports were until I actually was sharing the ring with a lot of these top pros in America. I definitely had to evolve my game a lot. There's things that work in amateur boxing that actually don't work in the pro game, and vice versa. They are two completely different sports, and I learned that I did have to adapt along the way and evolve along the way. And I feel like I'm more of a pro boxer today than obviously I've ever been. So it has been definitely a big learning curve for me, but I love the challenge of that as well. I have loved the challenge of professional boxing and how different the two sports actually are. Yeah, it's been a great few years.
So obviously this is going to be your first fight in the UK. So how's the experience been so far for you?
I'm getting used to the time difference is a little bit different. I'm still a little bit jet lagged, but other than that, England is beautiful. I'm enjoying every minute.
Amazing. And has there been any fights that you've previously had that you think will help coming into this fight against Katie?
I have a lot of experience as a pro. I've had a lot of experience as an amateur. So there's been many, many fights that have gotten me prepared for this level. So, I mean, even sparring my sister Stephanie has prepared me for this fight. I've been blessed to have lots of championship fights.
Yeah, well, great. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sasha. If we go to Chris Ridgway next, please.
Hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good. I just want to start. Obviously, the fact you're facing Katie Taylor this week, and Katie's a huge name in the sport of boxing. Just what are your opinions of her as a boxer? What do you feel are her main attributes and things to look out for?
I have lots of respect for Katie Taylor. I mean, she was Olympic gold medalist. She has done something that not many females have been given the opportunity to be unified world champion, and she has done it all in a huge spotlight in her face. She's done a great job. She's fast, she's strong, she's got experience, but so do I.
How does your life change if you win on Saturday?
My life will change. My life has already changed, but if I win and become the unified world champion, that will be the biggest accomplishment that I've ever done in my boxing career. It'll be huge to bring that back home to my country and to El Paso and to my family and to my team. It's like, that'll be life-changing.
Well, all the best. We'll be watching. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you. See you soon.
Thanks, Chris. If we go to Jonathan Nagyoff next, please.
Hey, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us. How long has sort of Katie, how long have you been watching her? Did you ever think this fight would happen?
I mean, I never thought that this fight would happen so soon. I'm very, very blessed that the things fell into place and that I'm getting this opportunity now. I've known Katie for many, many, many years. I don't know her personally, but I've heard of her as an amateur boxer. I also waited for the Olympics 2000, 2004, 2008. Didn't happen. Women's boxing barely turned an Olympic sport in 2012. I turned pro in 2009. I followed Katie's career, not just her career, all the Olympians, and we're very proud of her accomplishments when she won gold medal. So I've heard about Katie Taylor for many, many years. So I've known about her and I've followed her career, and I know she's an outstanding fighter. And this is not, it's not somebody that I just barely heard of. I've known her for quite a while.
Can you just touch on sort of your accomplishments so far? Former world champion, held the IBF belt.
Yeah, I've been the IBF champion. I won in 2015. I never lost it. I just moved up to the IBF mandatory at 135. I am very, very, very excited because even as mandatory, I was supposed to fight on Katie Taylor's undercard last year in May, but because of COVID, it kind of messed things up. And I had my second son about 6 months ago, and the opportunities came, and of course I'm going to seize them. And this is definitely the fight of a lifetime. So I'm very, very happy to be here.
Just lastly, what can the UK fans watching on DAZN expect from you and your style?
So I think the fans in general, boxing fans in general, can expect a great technical fight because I don't plan on fighting Katie Taylor's fight. I don't plan on staying in front of her and letting her do what she does best. So check it out.
That's a lot. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, if we go to Ryan Elliott from Boxing Social next, please.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Obviously, this is going to be the first time we've had you over in the UK for a professional fight, so hopefully we get to know you a bit better. Could you tell us a bit about how you started boxing in the first place and what boxing means to your family as well? I heard you mention sparring with your sister and stuff as well.
Yes. So my siblings, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and my dad is Master Han. We started in martial arts. And then from martial arts, we moved on to kickboxing. Being a female, I got a lot more opportunities in boxing. And boxing, I was a 6-time national boxing champion, traveled all over the world, turned professional boxing. I love boxing. It's been very good to me. And I've had the most accomplishments there.
You mentioned you started in martial arts, you tried kickboxing. Boxing's the one that stuck. You mentioned the opportunities came, but what was it specifically about boxing, do you think, that appealed to you and made you run with that as a career as well?
Like I said, I got the most opportunities in boxing as a martial artist, and in kickboxing. When I started, there wasn't a lot of competition for me. And sometimes I would show up to tournaments and wasn't able to fight, but boxing opened huge doors for me. and that's why I stuck with it, because I got much more competition.
You mentioned it just briefly before the birth of your son, your second son. You
Yes.
took a bit of time away from boxing for that. You're back now. How much motivation does being a mother provide for you, not only to build a better future for yourself, but your children?
Oh, I'm so blessed to have my sons. They have definitely pushed me more than anything. I want to make them proud of their mother. I want them to see that whatever goals you set, you can accomplish if you work hard for it.
Jennifer, this is your UK debut. You have fought abroad before, though. I wanted to ask you a bit about what it was like fighting in South Korea, what that whole experience was like.
Fighting in South Korea was awesome. I am half Korean, so it was the first time that I got to meet my family face to face, and it was actually the second time I got to visit in Korea. The first time I had visited my Korean grandmother with my my father, but the experience was amazing. I enjoyed the people, I enjoyed the culture, I enjoyed fighting in front of my dad's people, basically. It was amazing. It was awesome. I didn't get the decision I wanted, but that was one of the best fights I'd fought up until that point.
Oh, this weekend is a huge opportunity, undisputed lightweight title on the line. I just wanted to know, back home when the news broke that you were going to be coming over here and challenging for these belts against a modern legend in Katie Taylor, what was the reaction like in El Paso? I'm sure you had plenty of messages of support.
It was awesome. For El Paso, that is the biggest news for women's boxing, period. So I've had a lot of support from my community, and especially from my team and from my family, and this is it.
All right, Jennifer, I'll pass you on to the other guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. If we go to Sean Mcgoldrick next, please.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
I spoke to you last week on the phone, you might remember, but just two quick things from me. How difficult is it to leave your two baby sons at home and travel?
Oh man, you hit me right in the heart. It's been difficult, but my husband's been he's been doing a good job of taking care of the boys, and he calls me and I get to speak to them every day, and I miss them terribly, but you know, this is such a huge opportunity, and if they were older, I would have brought them along, but right now they're very young, so they need to stay at home. But I'm doing this for them, and they will understand. And my son, my 2-year-old, he misses me terribly, but I'll be home soon.
Just how difficult was it? Because as you said, you had your second son just 6 months ago. I mean, how difficult was it to sort of to lose the weight and go back or get into the shape for 135 to face Katie?
Well, there's nothing easy about boxing ever, nothing easy, but losing that weight was definitely an obstacle. I got quite large when I was pregnant. So since having the baby, I've already lost 75 pounds. So it's been a struggle, but I did it and I feel great, and I'm ready to fight.
See you on Saturday. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. If we go to Danny Flexen next, please.
Hey, Jennifer, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You're obviously a distinguished world champion at 126 pounds.
Yes, sir.
Why did you skip the 130-pound division, especially now you have a fellow American in Michaela Mayer, who's the WBO champion at the weight?
Right. I think anybody would skip a division to get the chance to fight Katie Taylor. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, I fought my entire career as featherweight, but I'm ready to move up, and Katie Taylor gave me this opportunity, and I'm going to seize it. I'm not going to wait around and be like, oh no, I need to fight at super featherweight. Nope. Lightweight is good for me. Lightweight is good for me.
So assuming you win, this would be a permanent move up to 135.
Absolutely. Excellent. We're up for bigger and better things.
And you had 2 years roughly out of the sport. You had your second child, of course. Did you ever consider walking away from the sport at that point, given everything you'd already achieved?
Actually, when I was pregnant with my first son, I was ready then. I was ready. I felt I was ready because I wasn't getting any of the big fights. I was defending my title successfully and not being put on TV. And we were working so hard, and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. So I was a little bit disappointed in boxing because, you know, I worked hard and I wasn't getting what I felt that I deserved. So I was ready to hang up the gloves. After my son was born, when I get pregnant, I don't know if it's because I'm older, I get quite big, and I only came back to boxing to lose weight. And as I was losing weight, my coach was very impressed. He was like, "You've been sparring better than ever. You need to fight." So then I fought last year, February, and then we talked to the IBF about moving up in weight, and they were going to put me on the IBF. They're going to put me on the Katie Taylor undercard for May 2nd, like I had said earlier, but COVID happened and they weren't allowing foreigners even when they rescheduled her fight. So baby number 2, I mean, my life can't stop. It has to move forward. And I got back into shape again, but I feel amazing. And this is definitely my time. Like all the pieces are falling together, and I'm so excited. This is the best experience I've had in boxing, and I'm ready for it.
And just finally, can you talk to us about Katie's last couple of performances and anything that stood out to you about those?
So I remember her fights with Delphine Persoon, and Delphine, she is probably the definition of perseverance and hard work, because wow, I enjoyed those fights. Katie showed a lot of heart, and she took a lot of punishment from Persoon, but she kept going forward and she never went down. I enjoyed the fight with I don't know how to say her last name, but with Christina. She did. I mean, she was a very, very tough opponent. She moved up in weight. That was a great fight. And I also enjoyed her last fight. Who was the girl that she fought? You tell me about names and I'm just like, what? Say it again.
Natasha Jonas.
Yes, Natasha Jonas. And she was a southpaw, so she's shown that she can fight different opponents and change and adapt to their style. So I mean, Katie Taylor is there's a reason why everybody calls her pound for pound best, because she can adapt, she can apply her skills. So you know, it's a privilege to fight the best of the best.
So with all that in mind, why will you succeed where the others came slightly short?
So I believe that all of them have still fought for Katie's game plan, and I'm not going to criticize any of them for it. They've all fought their best fights, but I don't plan on fighting for Katie's game plan.
Thank you, and very best of luck.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Danny. If we go to Jason Fletcher next, please.
Yeah, g'day, Jennifer. It's Jason Fletcher from 5v360 Australia. How are you today, man?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Congratulations on the fight first, and your second son. Congratulations on that.
Thank
So
you very
just
much.
want to ask you, women's scope of women's boxing in general, how do you feel the transition was from when you started to now, and where do you see it going? Similar to the UFC, Dana White did a fantastic job. The girls are now,
I agree,
headlining the cards, and the fellas are under the undercard. Do you see a day where that's going to happen for women's boxing? Because I know that Lou DiBella is doing it over in the States.
Yes.
Do you see it going worldwide?
I think it is. That is definitely the direction that it's going. And when I first started boxing, women didn't have. I mean, there was Christy Martin, there was Layla Ali, there was Lucia Riker. There were huge names in women's boxing, but the promoters didn't always do a great job of sharing our side of the story. Just like Dana White from the UFC, I think he's done a tremendous job of promoting women's combative sports, and I believe that the direction in women's boxing is going the same way. It's a little bit slower, but it's going the same way. I think a lot of the promoters, especially in boxing, still haven't taken that jump for females, and they're missing out because there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of exciting fights, and they need to invest in us. And with Katie Taylor and Clarissa Shields and all these amazing amateur gold medalists from the Olympics, they're shining. They're shining in professional boxing. And especially with Katie Taylor, she's done a great job of being classy and a talented fighter and making that money. You know, she's definitely stepped up the game for women's boxing. So I do appreciate that from her. And I feel that she's exposing women and how strong and talented and beautiful and how deserving they are of these opportunities, just like the men.
Exactly. And just we've got an Australian girl on the undercard, Ebony Bridges. Has she come across your desk? Have you had noticed anything that Ebony's been up to? She certainly can draw a crowd.
No, I haven't. This is the first time I've heard of her, and I'm excited to see her fight as well.
Excellent. And just one more question: you feel you go bring out the mama bear mentality for the fight?
Absolutely.
I know those mums can get pretty angry.
This is something that it's been building my entire life. I've worked for this my entire life, and then having my sons, it's just more motivation. You won't know because you were never pregnant, but it's life-changing.
I'm glad I never was. My wife went through it 4 times.
Right. But it's life-changing as a mother because the way your body changes, what you go through, I mean, it makes you mentally tougher. Like I've always been mentally tough, but after having my sons, it makes you stronger. And I'm ready and I'm excited and I'm ready to show the world.
Absolutely. Well, good luck on the weekend. Thank you very much for your time, ma'am, and good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jason. If you go to Lyndon Dixon next, please.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. There's going to be quite a few fans there, 20,000 to be specific, on Saturday.
Right.
And by the sounds of it, they're all cheering on for Katie. But are you ready for that atmosphere?
So I've never fought in front of 20,000 plus people, so this will be a first. But I'm a professional. I've prepared for this. That's not something I'm worried about. I've fought in other people's hometowns before. I fought in other people's countries. It is what it is. And I understand that they're going to go for their girl. But I hope that my fighting style gives me a few cheers on that side too. So we'll see. But that's not my big focus. My focus is on the fight. And if I win a few fans, that's great. But my job is to win. And that's all I'm worried about. I'm not worried about being the fan favorite.